Believe you can tell a man's character from watching him on a basketball court?
No, but I do think that you can tell something about people from how they play basketball. For example, people who keep on shooting even though they have no jump shot. You can tell that there's a certain self-delusional aspect to their game, right? That says something about who they are.
We wanted to find out just what Obama's game looked like for ourselves, so we asked him to do something he had never done before: allow a television crew to shoot him playing, and let the public see, for the first time, the candidate enjoying his greatest private passion, a game of pickup basketball. Unscripted, unpolished, in short, beyond his campaign's control.
What's up, guys? Can I get into one?
And somewhat to our surprise, Obama said yes.
All these guys from Fort Bragg?
We met him in North Carolina on March 19th, as it happened the 5th anniversary of the U.S. invasion of Iraq. Fittingly, Obama's camp rounded up some U.S. troops from nearby Fort Bragg for an early morning contest. Give me a scouting report on your game today.
I have held up reasonably well as a 46-year-old, so I'm still reasonably quick for my age. I would say my peers would have trouble guarding me tight outside. I'd go by them. They're better off testing my J, which is worse than it was when I was in high school.
The game was to 11 by ones, and it wasn't long before the Illinois senator was showing flickers of his Hawaiian youth, mixed with hints of the candidate that he's become. The self-proclaimed uniter was, sure enough, a team player, preferring mostly to help teammates score rather than to shoot himself. A relative peacenik politically, Obama did show some defensive softness, but a surprising toughness anytime his basket was threatened. And while he at times fell prey to his ambition, when it was game point, he showed a degree of leadership, taking charge with the ball in his hands, and fittingly enough for this liberal senator, driving hard to his left for the game-winning layup.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Good game.
Thank you.
Good game.
Here's my question, though. Who's playing defense on number 2? I hit him for about 4 open shots.
Senator, quick post-game interview. I got your unofficial stat line at 5 assists, 4 points, 3 rebounds, 2 turnovers, 1 steal, 1 block.
Not bad.
Is that typical?
That's a well-rounded game. That is typical, although usually I'd be hitting those 2 jumpers.
I like the slashing style, the juke right and the go left.
I got a little bit of that. That's my patent move.
You can't go to your right, can you?
No.
On anything.
But don't tell anybody.
I also noticed that defenders play you a little soft these days.
Well, there have been a couple times where the Secret Service and I played, and anytime I fell down, everybody went, ooh.
Ooh, yeah.
Here's the fact of the matter. I probably should not break my nose on the basketball court. I've done that once. I've lost a tooth. I figure showing up with a big patch to debate over my face probably doesn't work.
It also doesn't work when there's a speech to make. Obama left this morning's game to give a major speech on Iraq. And just the day before, he'd given what is now his most famous speech of all.
This is where we are right now. It's a racial stalemate we've been stuck in for years.
It's not just coincidental that this country's first biracial presidential contender loves a game that itself cannot be separated from the issue of race.
There is something about basketball and our culture that connects up with the African-American experience in a special way, almost in the same way that jazz music connects up with African-American culture. There's an aspect of improvisation within a discipline that I find very, very powerful.
There was a guy who used to write for the San Francisco Chronicle, and at the end of every NBA season, he used to make 4 all-star teams. He took black guys who played white, i.e. Kareem, Charles Oakley, and black guys who played black, and he did white guys who played white and white guys who played black, Jason Williams, etc. So which team does Barack belong on?
Wow, okay. He started out as a black player who played black and is now more of a black player who plays white, just so he doesn't get hurt.
Stay in one piece.
Stay in one piece, yeah. I think if you're using that verbiage, we're all after, 35, we all play white.
Not surprisingly, the politics of basketball have already come into play in Obama's campaign. Before the crucial New Hampshire primary, he dispatched his brother-in-law, now a college basketball coach, to the Granite State, where he helped set up statewide 3-on-3 tournaments designed to recruit and register new voters. Obama himself will play in a similar 3-on-3 event later this month in hoops-crazed Indiana, just before that state's primary on May 6th. Your campaign has been very much about transcending race.
Yeah.
To the extent that the game is viewed as a quote-unquote black game. Is it counter to your message?
No, look, I'll talk. We could have done a whole interview about football. I love football, but I'm a little skinny to play it.
The truth is, though, football is a sport linked to the old-time presidents of America's past. Barack Obama, who has billed himself as the candidate of change, would, if he ever gets there, be the first hoopster in the White House. How dearly would you love to play George W. in a game of one-on-one?
You know, he looks like a pretty good athlete. He takes that mountain biking seriously, but I'm pretty certain I can take him.
Do you know there's an outdoor hoop on the south lawn of the White House?
I wasn't aware of that. I was thinking I was going to have to tear down the bowling alley to build a basketball court. I'm still thinking, if I get there, we may need at least a little indoor half court.
Would that be a priority? Putting an indoor hoop in the White House?
Well, I mean, relative to getting our troops out of Iraq, no.
Okay, I understand.
Relative to potential remodeling inside the White House, sure, why not?
To date, Senator Obama has, as you might expect, enjoyed widespread support from the basketball community, having received the endorsements of a number of all-time greats, among them Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and the man who was inarguably the best basketball player to ever pursue the presidency, former Senator Bill Bradley. As for Obama's brother-in-law, Craig Robinson, his career is definitely on the rise. After 2 years as a head coach in the Ivy League at Brown University, he just last week moved on to the Pac-10, accepting the head coaching job at Oregon State. Let's also move on. There's a new rule in baseball this year, one that requires all first and third base coaches in both the major and minor leagues to wear protective helmets. It's a rule that was implemented after the death of a minor league coach named Mike Coolbaugh last year. Coolbaugh was the first coach ever to be killed on the field in the history of professional baseball, and the circumstances of his death are still impacting all who were close to him. Our Frank